We're good. Is it recording?
Yeah, we're recording. By the way,
sound. Cheers.
salute to good friends and good times.
Always.
Somebody gave me a cheers that I thought was interesting. May we never run out.
That's it?
May we never
Run out.
Yeah. And it kind of says everything, right?
Yeah.
Run out of good times, run out of good opportunities, good friends, good health. May we never run out.
That's dope. I like that.
I like it, yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
So, Eric, this one's for you. So I was reading online on Facebook, on our, the group we're on, 50 Shades of Black.
Yeah, no, Fish Series are great.
Hey, but we're adults and no judgment.
Whatever floats your boat.
Do your thing, just don't do it to me. And there was somebody that posted a question, and it bothered me to no end because it's something that I've heard so many times, said by so many people in such a flagrantly, in my personal opinion, disrespectful way.
Okay.
Let me explain. The statement was, and it was just a very simple statement. Rent is $1,650.
Okay.
Utilities is $300. You're a man. How much should your woman pay if you live together?
Okay.
Now, actually, context. I've been married for going on 12 years. My wife and I have lived together for longer than that. We've lived in an apartment, we've rented, we've owned, and we have 3 kids, right? Father of 3.
That's the whole concept.
It's kind
right?
of the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before I go in, and I'm married, you're not,
Mm-hmm.
so I'd love to have your take on this, because I know you got words. Or did you want me to get started?
I want you to get started because what was the general consensus? Because I did not see the post.
Okay. That kind of ish gets me fired up because a lot of people go 50-50. 50-50, 50-50, 50-50.
Okay.
And now that bothers the living ish out of me. All right? Mm-hmm. Because 50-50 does not take anything into account.
Yeah.
People are people. Every situation is different, and the reality is in order for a family unit to function, there has to be roles and responsibilities, compromises. Mm-hmm. There has to be family decisions, and those family decisions, if you're starting out, I get it, right? To say, hey, you pay your half, I pay my half, that makes sense when you're starting out. And I understand where that comes from, by the way. I don't want to get screwed. Or maybe you do. But in all seriousness, this idea of 50-50 does not make any sense. Eventually, anyways, it shouldn't make any sense. Because there's going to be a point. There's going to be a point in time where a woman gets pregnant. Don't you want her to spend as much time as she possibly can taking care of the kids? Mm-hmm. Don't you want to offer her the opportunity? And I get how elitist it sounds, because the reality is I can afford it.
Yes.
But also, I want to afford it to be able to tell my wife, look her in the eyes and say, you don't have to stay home with the kids, but I don't care what it is. Nothing out there is more important than them. Nothing out in the world. I don't give a crap unless you're president or unless you're running in the UN or something. In my opinion, nothing is more important than the kids. For a certain amount of time anyways.
Yeah.
Right? So I understand that certain sacrifices have to be made. If it financially made more sense for me to stay home, hey, trust
me, daddy.
There's no ifs, buts, and maybe. I'd be home all the time.
Yeah.
And I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to offer that opportunity to my wife. So the fact of saying 50-50, to me, kind of discounts all of that. And that's why it infuriates me every time I hear that.
So were people really saying 50-50?
Yeah.
Like really? It was
men and women.
Wow.
Men and women.
Okay, guys, this is gonna suck because if you expected some kind of debate, I'm like, no, that ain't what we're talking about. No, it doesn't make sense either to
Seriously?
me.
Okay.
Now, again, for context, I've been separated for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not married anymore, but I have been.
Mm-hmm.
So, my thinking is gonna be more inclined towards your vibe. The 50-50 doesn't make any sense because it doesn't take into account how much each person is making also, right? So if, for example, I'm married and I'm making twice as much as my wife, it is unfair for me to say, well, I'm gonna have to cut this 50-50. Maybe your 50% is 100%
Of your salary.
of your salary, and mine doesn't touch anything, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
So 50-50 doesn't make any sense. I think if we're going to talk about percentage,
Yeah.
let's talk percentage of exactly what how
Yeah.
much we make. If you want to go to percentage, the other thing that we people don't calculate is even if there isn't a wage stuck to the role of being a stay-at-home parent,
Yeah.
there are still ways to calculate it.
Oh, okay.
Right? There's still ways to calculate. Hey, here's the work that I do during a day.
Yeah.
Here's what's being done. Here's how much we're saving. And often that's something that is not.
Get accounted for.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't weigh enough in people's mind in the scale.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
It doesn't. I'll go with the traditional man works, woman stays at home with the kids, right? The fact that you can get home and the house is clean and the meal is ready to be served, it's a privilege.
Oh, hell's yeah.
And it's a privilege that normally you would pay extra for anywhere else, right? What makes it so that you pay a prime when you eat outside? I had a conversation with a few of my colleagues in the office. We had our yearly holiday supper. We actually have an activity with we go kart, paintball. So we do something, laser tag, and then we go at a nice restaurant and we eat. The whole gang and
Team building.
Exactly. And in our office where we're not many people, but we are a tight knit family, right? It really is a business that's like a family. I love the guys with whom I work.
Yeah.
And we went to the keg.
Okay.
It was my first time going to the keg, by the
Classic.
way. Going for a nice steak.
Where?
And
which one? Did you go to the one in the Old Port?
No,
Where'd you go?
West Island.
Okay. Because by the way, if you get a chance, go to the one in the Old Port.
They're special. There's different.
The one in the Old Port of Montreal is one of my favorite ones. It's the only keg I can say I genuinely love because it's in the Old Port. It's in a really old building. It's all brick.
Okay.
And if you eat in the basement, it's like you're
the cachet.
Yeah, you feel like you're in a wine. Like you're in a wine cellar, yeah. It's really, really cool. It's really, really cool. Like the food is the keg food, right? It's whatever. Like it's a traditional steakhouse and it's a chain at that. The food is good. It's well done.
Yeah.
But it's not like extraordinary. It's good though. It's really staple.
At some point.
But the Old Port, the location,
The vibe and everything.
Yeah.
So shout out to the keg and the Old Port. I will be visiting you soon.
Yeah, man.
Facts.
It's just it gives you this little. You feel like you're somewhere special because it's rocks and heavy rocks. Like it creates the sound. It sounds different. The room sounds different. You kind of get lost in time because there's not that many windows. There's not that much light. It's quiet. Like it's really dope.
Okay, so that's something I'm gonna have to try.
Yeah.
But yeah, went to the one in the West Islands.
Yeah.
And one of my colleagues was like, "Yo, this steak, this is awesome today. You cannot get this at home." And my other colleague, his name is Jody, who is an IT tech, right? He's a computer tech. He is a magician for trade,
Of course.
and he is a trained cook.
Of
right?
course.
And he's telling my
'Cause why
colleague,
not?
Right, right.
'Cause why not?
Let's have different skills, right?
Yeah.
He wears different hats. Love the guy, and he has 3 kids also. So one day, I'm gonna make him come down.
And you'll make him
3.
appear.
Yes. Oh! Silly daddy. He's really awesome, by the way. I went to a show yesterday. Anyways, long story short, he says, if you have the right ingredients, it's quite easy to have
Yeah.
a steak like this one. And my other colleague was like, no, impossible. For him, it was like, it's impossible. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You just have to know how.
Yeah.
Now, here's my point. You can have it at home. Probably better and less expensive,
Of course.
right? But you pay a prime rib. You pay a prime, pun intended. You pay a prime to have it in the spot
Yeah.
with the awesome atmosphere
Yes.
and everything else. It costs money.
Yeah.
Now, if you took that and stick it to the person that's cooking at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you gave that person a wage, dude, this person is not only cooking for you, right? Cooking, cleaning your spot, right? Presenting this food to you, right? Having a conversation with you, right?
So entertaining, creating the ambiance.
Dude,
and
there's
making
a lot to it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And I'm gonna give some props right now, okay? Again, I'm speaking to the traditional home, but it affects also if you're a man and you're at home.
Yeah.
Yo, props,
Yeah, of course.
props, okay? For what you do. I'm gonna speak to the ladies because that in that way that would concern me. Props to the ladies that take care of their home. I'm not gonna say they're men. It's not just the men. It's the family. I like what you said. You said it's the family unit. Right? You take care of kids, take care of the home. It's everything. That, if we were to put a price, I can't even put a price. It is priceless.
Yeah.
Right? So in that sense, is it really a question of 50-50?
You see, to me, this idea of 50-50, like there's, like I see it in 3 different seasons, right? And I'm not gonna go 4 seasons because I don't understand the 4th season yet.
Yeah.
I don't know winter yet.
Yeah.
And when I say 4 seasons, I'm talking about the spring of life when you're young, you don't really know what the F you're doing. The summer is the youthful part, and the autumn, which is where things are tapering off. I've seen those 3, right? I've seen it as a young couple. I've seen it as a young adult. I'm living it right now, right? I'm living through spring. I'm living through summer right now, and I've seen autumn because I've lived it, right? I have 4 brothers. I lived in a house with 7 people. Like I know what it looks like when the family unit is sort of a little bit broken off. People are working. Some people are going to school. Like there's sort of this dynamic. So I've seen what it looks like, and I've seen my mom be this woman that took care of the home, even though she had other things to do, and the way she did it. By the way, my mom's a boss like no
Facts.
other. She's a boss like no other.
Mama Fab was yeah.
You know what I mean? Like running a business and everybody's fed. Anybody comes over, you fed. Like, and
You're not only let's be specific. Not only are you fed,
yeah.
you're fed, and you got something to bring home.
Of course.
So you fed.
Yeah.
You understand? You're fed.
You're fed in a way that you can feed others.
Exactly. You can enough to give away. So
That's
that's
enough to
plenty.
give away. So, and it's crazy because that's the I'm sorry if I'm diverting, but I just want to touch on this. My mom has this trauma from not having much, right? And so in her mind, and I can see it. I can see it in my mom this way. She's like low-key a little bit hoarding and low-key overfeeding everyone because she's like, listen, if something happens tomorrow, this may be our last meal. This may be, a hurricane could take everything away or whatever. She has that mentality.
I'm gonna go with it's an immigrant thing.
It's an immigrant thing, but
A lot.
my mom lived a lot of different traumas, and one of them is actually having a flood literally wash everything away.
Yeah.
And so she's always packing like the zombie apocalypse is coming tomorrow.
That's right.
morning. She's always
Ready for anything.
ready for absolutely anything. So it's kind of low key. It's intense, but you know I love my mom to death, and she's always very generous with herself and her time and her love. And so I've seen those 3 seasons, and in my opinion, I think that there's different things for different times. I understand the 50-50 in the spring. Right? In the spring of a relationship, you're new, you don't know each other, you don't know whether or not this is going to work out, right? It's riskless. You take no risks to say, okay, so we're going to get a small place, and when we get this small place, because we don't know each other, let's go 50-50 on this place, right? But the reality is when I met Dom, when we first started dating, I didn't have ish. I didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, $27,000 a year, and I thought I was the bomb.com. Like I thought that was it.
Yep, exactly.
I thought that was it, and I'd made it.
To your defense, when you're single, no kids,
Yeah.
dude, money's money, man.
You know what? I bought a motorcycle because it was a cheaper transport. Not because it was cool, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the logic behind me was, okay, for $1,500, I can have this really fast vehicle that is cheap to insure. Back then, it was cheap to insure.
Yeah.
It was cheap to plate because I only have to pay plates for 6 months a year.
True.
Right?
True.
Most of my movements are only leisurely. I don't have to ever transport anyone. I don't have to get dressed up most of the time. If I have to get dressed up, usually it's because I'm going to an event and I'll go in somebody else's car.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so to me, it was me and my girl fit on this bike. I can park it anywhere. I can park it on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was just.
It's just cool.
It was, yeah. And
Just cool.
It was,
Just cool.
It was cool.
Step it up to any place, like boom,
Right?
win.
You know what's funny? My wife would always be like, "Yeah, the guy in the motorcycle, that's my boyfriend."
There's a stigma that goes with it. That's just like, yo, I'm that cool.
Yeah.
I'm that cool. I'm coming over.
You know what I
Coming
mean?
over.
And you'll know when I'm here. Why? Because I'll go. vroom, vroom.
vroom,
You know?
literally, yeah.
I'm not gonna make. You're not a chirp girl, but I'm gonna go vroom, vroom. Right? And I'll kill the engine and come knock at the door, but I'll keep my helmet on.
Because you can.
Because I can.
That's right.
And I mean, like, it was just, that was the logic to me. So $27,000 a year, I thought I was the bomb.com. I didn't need anything else. And so it was like, okay, so, you know, this apartment, it was a 3.5. Mm-hmm. No, it was a 2.5. It was a 2.5, a 1-bedroom apartment.
The one in Loge?
Yeah. And that 1-bedroom apartment, it was $400 a month.
Boom.
That's what it cost. So $200 each. Everything, utilities included. Yeah, that makes sense to go 50-50.
Yeah.
Because we both make, you know, similar amounts of money. We're both sort of not really know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
Groceries was a luxury because we never ever ate in.
Yeah.
Right? Eating in was an activity.
Yeah, it was like, I'm gonna do something special today.
We're gonna
cook
eat
something for you.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That was the time where I had 1 pan, 1 spatula,
Yeah.
2 plates, 2 forks and knives, and that was it. Like, that's all we needed. Because most of the time, whatever we cooked was breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. Like, so at that, like, that to me is 50-50. That's where that makes sense. In that context, for that limited amount of time where you don't know what the F you're doing. Yeah. And to be quite honest with you, I was never really comfortable in that situation. And you know what happened. But I was never really comfortable in that situation because I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really have a financial plan. I don't really have a budget. Yeah. I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck. I'm kind of living day to day. I don't have... Right, I was never really comfortable in that, and at one point I looked at my girl and I was like, "Yo, I need to be an honest man, and I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. I think this is it." So at that moment, I made the conscious decision to say we need to be a family unit, and as such, we need to start having a plan that includes you and me and our long-term life. And this is when I wanted, anyways. There's been issues there that I'm not going to talk about here, but. That's when I decided to transition from what I'm going to call spring to summer, right? That's when I decided to say, okay, we're getting married. Mm-hmm. I think this is it. Like, I know you're it. And so as this is the moment that we decide to become not just I don't know what we're doing, but we are getting married. Yeah. At that precise moment, there's no more insecurity about whether I'm getting my fair share. That's no longer a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Oh yeah, totally.
And this is where I wouldn't want my wife to feel, or my girlfriend at that time, I wouldn't have want my girlfriend to feel that if she doesn't have enough, she is not enough. right? Because the truth of the matter is whether it's emotional support or financial support or encouragement or whatever, or spiritual support or whatever it is, the reason why I am where I am and who I am today is in great parts because of her sacrifices.
That's right.
It would be kind of fucked up to say, hey, invest on me, but when I'm here, fuck you.
Yeah, that's right.
What
That's
the
right.
fuck?
If somebody spent all this time building you, and that's,
Listen.
but it's so specific to these situations.
Is
the
it?
The problem
Is it though?
The problem is, we don't all start from the same place, right? So
Explain.
you might think I'm talking about just like, hey, family, and were you in a rich family before, middle, or you poor? It's not just that. It's just how the family unit was started. It changes a lot.
Okay.
The perspective.
I'm very interested.
So let's go with your way, right? I'm gonna say that you went the right, or I'm gonna say you went the traditional way, in the sense of,
even though I skipped a few steps.
yeah, but still, like,
And then
you
took
know,
a few steps back.
but you would say normally you would say, okay, I'm going out with this chick, and then we decide, we're gonna get married, or if you want, you move in together for a while, and then you get married, and then you have a baby, and then you get a house, and then whatever, right? Me is totally unconventional, because we started out with boom, there's a baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Priorities, plans, everything is up in the air, right? And it makes for a lack of foundation. I think the most people that are having trouble and have this mentality of 50-50 is because that foundation was never excavated.
Damn.
The foundation wasn't there. You're always gonna be in that gray area. I'm not sure. I want to hold on to this. Let me hide this, because I don't know. We didn't start this way. See, just the fact that at some point you sat down and said, "Listen, we need to plan this," right? Some people have been together for like 20 years, and this convo has never been begun.
Is that a real thing?
Totally. Look.
Whoa. I need somebody to validate this, because I much love, much respect. Please, I need somebody to validate
I will
this.
give you an
Is there actually? Are you telling?
I will give you an
me?
example,
Yeah.
right?
How the fuck does that work?
If a guy,
I'm sorry.
let's say if a guy,
Yeah.
you're in a relationship with someone,
Yeah.
and she stayed at home. They've had 2, 3, 4 kids. The wife has always stayed at home. The guy has always paid for everything. He decides of everything.
Yeah.
Because he pays everything.
Yeah.
And it's been this way forever.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody might say, well, that's a plan. That's a routine. It works. If there was never a conversation, right? Sometimes, and some relationships end because of it in a surprised way. Like some guy would be like, I thought everything was fine, and then she said, no, I can't do this anymore. You didn't know your partner was suffering, because she was never asked, hey, are you okay with staying at home? You took it upon yourself, like, I'm the dude, I'm doing it, right? I remember way back, I was young, maybe like 20, okay? Trying to figure out how it works with women. And I remember reading, I don't even know if the website still exists. I was an avid fan of AskMan.com.
Askman.com.
But in its heyday, okay?
Yeah.
Last time I went there, I don't even know if it exists still, but last time I went there, it was trash. But, like, I used to get tips for this, like, how to be a man. And, like, I remember one of the moves, there was an article, it was Dr. Love, that was telling you how you should act with a woman.
Yeah.
You go on a date, and you say, hey, what do you want to eat? Yeah, I want to eat this, but I thought, yeah, cool. And then when the waitress comes in, you're like, hey, the lady will have this, that, and the third, and I'm going to have this, right? And it was to show, like, I got this. I got this. You already told me what you want, and I'm going to order. Like, I'm a man, I'm ordering, right?
Okay.
Maybe she doesn't want you
To order for.
right? Maybe she's gonna feel as if you're treating her like a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna order for my young Jamal. Like, Jamal, chicken. Okay, cool. He's gonna have 2 drumsticks and. Dude.
Yeah.
But that's what I learned, right?
Yeah.
So, if you took for granted that, hey, I'm taking this upon myself,
Yeah.
right? You took the chance for her
Yeah.
to decide if she wanted to make a sacrifice. Maybe she wanted you to.
Yeah.
Maybe she wanted to ask.
No, I hear you.
Maybe she wanted you to take the reins, but she wanted to tell you, hey, I'm okay with staying home. Maybe she wanted a career, but now since you already decided you were doing this,
Yeah.
she just walked with you on it.
Yeah.
And at some point she goes, no, I can't do this anymore.
You want to know what's really interesting? My wife wants her independence. She wants to have her independence. And I find it lovely. But I don't understand. And this is something that I don't think I've ever been able to formulate properly, so excuse me if I'm fumbling through this. I don't understand why it's so problematic to be dependent on each other.
All right.
So she grew up with a single mom, and to her, it's a sin, right, to depend on somebody else for things. And so to me, that idea is, I don't want to say irrelevant, but I don't want to say ludicrous, because I don't want to, like, it's not irrelevant, right? It's,
No.
It's
You don't want to alienate.
No, I don't want to
people
alienate
and the
anything.
choices, but yeah.
But to me, if you have certain things you want to accomplish, you should feel free to accomplish them. And to me, it's a privilege to have the opportunity, just like I would for any friend, to have the opportunity to be somebody to say, hey, go and spread your wings, right? But that's a couple investing on each other.
Yeah.
I've never been somebody that's been interested in school. That's not been my thing. I believe if you want to learn something, just go out and learn it. And I'm sort of self-taught for a lot of things. So
What was that?
yeah, I'm sort of, I just, when there's trouble, when there's pressure, when we're short on time, that's usually when I shine.
Yeah.
Right? That's usually when I get focused, I do my best work, I figure things out very quickly and come out with solutions. And so to me, that's how it works. But I understand that not everybody is me.
No.
And so if my wife says, hey, I want to go to school and take a class or whatever, to me, it's my job to create the infrastructure such that, okay,
So they can happen.
I'll hold the fort. Go, do what you need to do. Just like she, personally, because I'm self-taught, everything that I did was, hey, let me take this messed up job that I can't do. I'm going to work insane hours.
Yeah.
The rest, when I'm not at work, I'm going to learn about work because I don't know enough to do the work.
Yeah.
And so by crashing and burning and scraping and bleeding and cutting myself, and I'm going to learn so much, I'll be super valuable into the organization where I'm going to be. And I know that it's going to bring me to the next and the next and the next. And I've been doing that for the past, 15 years. And so where I am right now, I am because I had a partner that said, I got you. And just like, to me, it's equally valuable, if not more.
Yeah.
Right? I've always taken long bets, and she's always had my back. So I'm like, anyways, I'm kind of harping on the same thing.
But okay, so I'm gonna play the other side also, where I understand where it's also important to go with the 50-50.
Okay.
And it's when there's been abuse of the system. So here's the thing. I was talking about foundation, right?
Yeah.
So not everyone agrees or believes in marriage, and that's cool.
Yeah. Is it though?
I want it's cool. It's you. It's you. I do understand that marriage is a system. Okay, we can put the belief and all. Like personally, for me, a wedding doesn't work if you don't involve God in it. For me, I'm like, it's crazy. If you don't believe in it, then just don't get married. I usually tell people, listen, if you don't have a belief in that and what marriage means, then yeah, for you, this is only going to be a paper. And if it's only a paper, then it doesn't make a difference. So do what you want to do. That's why I say I don't push people towards that. But it's a system. And it works as long as people work inside of those rules. Okay? Hence, what you just explained is an equal exchange. What happens when that exchange is unbalanced? Meaning, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I'll give you two sides. If the wife is at home, she is giving her all in the home, right? And maintaining the household. And the husband makes an awesome salary and keeps this 50-50 in his head. He's gonna give a minimum just to like basically breadcrumbs, like be happy I'm at least giving you something because I'm bringing the bread in the house, and then can decide to go gamble money and just do whatever he wants. Like if he wants to accomplish something, he has the leverage for it.
Yeah.
Like any decision is, listen, in the end I'm the one who brings the bread. You understand? There's an abuse. At the same time, you could also be unbalanced and be like the person, like you explained, like, oh, you're ready to cut yourself working, doing 20 jobs or odd jobs to bring a certain amount of money to cover everything.
Yeah.
But if the person that's at home is simply receiving and not giving out, then it's unbalanced, right? The issue is still, remember when I said about, hey, there's a price for all the work that's being done.
Of course.
That's if the work's been done.
Yeah.
Right? If the work hasn't been done, if you stay at home, and again, some people are gonna read what or listen to what I'm saying and be like, oh, now you have standards, and oh, if this was done properly, no lie, yes. If I feel like it would be less expensive for me to pay someone for the same service and have you working too, F it. Let's all go to work and have somebody doing it inside.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to, hey, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
Right? There's a price for convenience, right?
Yeah.
I went about doing the steak, and I said you can have the steak better taste, better presentation, and it'll cost less at home if you do it.
Yeah.
That's if the time I spend doing it is less and costly than having somebody do it. The celebrities and the superstars are cooking their own meals because their wage is worth more, right? If I make a calculation, who was it that I checked? Man, was it Chris Brown that I checked how much he was making? I forget, but like if for some reason, I think it was LeBron. It was something ridiculous, like if he's making $1,000 per like, I don't know, minute, hour. I don't remember, but it's a ridiculous amount. If I'm making that much, that means every minute I'm spending doing something that seems trivial.
Yeah.
Meh.
So it's kind of funny, right? Everybody has their own thing. I know I'm weird. To me, cooking is something that I love and enjoy.
See, that's different.
Hold on. Cooking for my family and my friends, to me, feels like a privilege. I think it's the way I was raised. I don't know. My mom had a massive impact on me that way. But to me, the fact of being able to put a beautiful table of food that I made, and when I cook, everything has to be made from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, there's no ragu and like, no.
Yeah.
No.
You're making your own chicken stock.
Yeah. Like, I haven't started making my sausages yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, to me, that's a privilege. So, but that's not everyone.
No.
You feel me? Not everybody enjoys doing that. So no matter how much money I made, no matter how many billions of dollars I had in the bank, I might have somebody cook like I want to say daily meals. If that makes sense, like the we have sustenance
Yeah.
type of meal. I might end up hire somebody to do that. Which, by the way, is not as expensive as you.
No, I know. I should
I was like, it's not as expensive as one might think. Right? I mean, we've actually done the math. It would be about $32,000. It would be $32,000 a year to have somebody stay at home, helping with homeworks, helping with cooking, cleaning, and so on. So I mean, not to say but that person would be then an employee.
Yes.
Would not bring love.
No.
Right? Would not have attention, care, and self-interest into it, and it would be impersonal. But yeah, I see it as like you said, there's sort of this exchange, and my wife wants to go to work. She wants to go because she feels to be depending on someone is a sin and a horrible thing, and it should never happen. She doesn't. She no longer. She never talks about this idea of 50-50 because that's just not how we do things. I accept that she wants to go to work. Like when I say I accept, I'm sorry, I sound super misogynist.
Yeah. The king has decided he will allow it.
No.
He will allow it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, I've agreed. Right, we as a family unit have agreed that for her sanity, because the reality is staying with kids all day, like that's trying. She wants to expand herself. She wants to spend time with other adults. I understand that. She has career aspirations. I understand that. She has things that she wants to learn, try, and whatever else. I understand that. She wants to make her own money. Agree, understand.
Yeah.
I don't have enough yet to. I don't have enough yet so that she would be able to work for me, because that would be ideal to me. Yeah. Because if I had the means, that's.
Yeah, and now it's a business. It's a family business. Then power couple mode activated.
Oh, so that's like awesome. Life goals.
I would love that. I would love to be able to say, listen, let's say, I have my own media company.
Yeah.
And my spouse, my loved one, my best half is with me on this.
Yeah.
And we go for broke, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I think the sin in saying 50-50 is the fact that it should never be 50-50. It's supposed to be 100-100.
Yo!
Right?
Thank you.
Like that's really it.
Oh my god.
People they think like, oh yeah, marriage, yeah, 50-50. No, it's 100-100.
100-100.
It's my whole,
your whole. That's it.
Together, awesome. And like,
thank you.
The verse is one flesh. We're supposed to be. It's half. You're my half.
Oh my god.
You're my half, but we're giving 100.
Yeah. The point is not to.
Our 50 is my 100. That's the calculation.
You know what, Holmes? Like you just. That is the nail. And before getting married, the church asked me to take some couple
classes.
Classes, and Pastor Jean, I think his name was.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
He said that to us. He said exactly those words, and that is something that I have to say. That is something that has stayed with us. Listen, the reality is sometimes you're tired. Sometimes life kicked you in the balls.
Yeah.
Men or women, by the way, that happens to everyone. Yes. You get kicked in the
proverbial
balls. Yeah. It's just you get kicked, and you're like, yo, I'm down. Like, and that's not the moment to say, hey, 50-50.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna help you. Just remember, I'm helping you.
Yobi. Yeah. No, that's not what. I'm not about that. I'm not about that life. I've always had it in mind, and I was having this conversation with somebody that was a pure stranger to me just a couple of days ago. I'm like, 3 things, right? Very simple. 1, if you're smart, I kind of want to be around you. Why? Because chances are you're going somewhere. And I don't know where that is. Yeah. You might not know where that is. But when you get there, you know what I mean? I want to holler at you. Because you're going places, I want to go places too. You know what I mean? So that's 1. 2, don't be an asshole. Just in general, just in life. Just don't be an asshole. I mean, you shouldn't be an asshole to your partner, to your wife, to your brethren. But in general, just try not to be an ass. Because what goes around comes around. But that goes both ways, right? If you're nice to people, then what goes around comes around, right? I'm hoping to create good karma. And just as a general rule, I'm trying to give this. I'm trying to get this positive vibe out of my life, right? I want to look back at the end of the day when I put my head on my pillow and go like, you know what? I really helped that guy. You know, I really helped that guy.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel good. Like I did it. Sure, it helped him, whatever, but it makes me feel good. I don't care whatever happens afterwards. I helped. I gave my best to every situation that I had in front of me, and of course that includes my family.
Yeah.
Right. I have that. So like this. Anyways, so this idea of like 100 is really important. In fact, I give my 100 in everything I do, in everything I touch, because I don't want to live with any regrets. I never want to go back. Could I have done something differently? Could I have done more? No, never in my life. Never ever in my life will I ever have that. I had a long conversation last night with my brother and my mom, and we talked about a situation that exploded and things got ugly, and both my mom and my brother were like, yo, I think you should have handled things differently. To which I responded, one, I'm a bit hurt, like my ego's a little hurt that she would think that I didn't give my all.
Yeah.
Right? Into any situation, because you of all people should know.
Yeah. Your intentions, your heart.
Always to give my all. But then when I explained my reasons, they both went like, oh shit, I didn't realize that you, I didn't realize all the things that created the situation. And so,
Yeah, cool, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like to me, in every situation, every aspect of life, like forget about 50-50 anything. Forget about 50-50 in any situation. It should always be give your all. And I think I take this from my dad. My dad was a very, very generous person. And one of the things that he taught me is, right?
Yeah.
Super, super generous. One of the things that he really instilled onto me is you will never regret doing the right thing. And that sounds dumb, doesn't it?
It sounds obvious.
But I mean, seriously, you'll never regret having done the right thing. Because guess what? It was the right thing to do.
That's it.
and that in and of itself should be the reason why you do what you do. So William, when you watch this, I hope you're a little bit older, right? Because ultimately, this is the reason why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I hope you understand. That should be the life lesson. Always give it your all.
Yeah.
Period.
What was the sentence the guy gave you? May you have plentiful?
May we never run out.
May we never run out. I'm gonna add to something you said when you were talking about cooking, right? A guy I follow a lot, as a life coach, as an entrepreneur, is Ramit Sethi.
Okay.
Of IWT. And there's something he always says. He says, I want you guys to live a rich life. Mm-hmm. And he says, a rich life is not making $1 million. Unless you want it to be making $1 million. He says, living a rich life is doing the things you love. And doing them without regret. Mm-hmm. So he says, I'm not going to judge somebody who decides to put $1,000 a month on shoes. Mm-hmm. As long as it was scheduled, planned, budgeted for, and that person can spend $1,000 a month on shoes without any regret. It's not like, I put $1,000 on shoes. Oh shoot, I should have. No, because everything else is paid, right? A rich life is being able to do these things without regret. A rich life. I remember somebody telling me, you know when I'm gonna know I'm rich enough? I said, when I don't have to think about the price of what I'm eating.
Seriously?
If I'm just eating, and I'm not like, unless your problem is like, your belly, right? Oh shoot, I shouldn't eat this. But if he's like, yeah, today I'm going to the keg, for example.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about, I'm gonna make it for the rest of the some people I've seen the meme before when they're like first of the month and they see like lobster and shrimp, steak and whatever, and then by the time they get to the Sunday it's water. It's like I put everything to the forefront, but I'm not making it right. A rich life is doing the things you love without any regret, right? If you're going around, you're with your wifey, and you're like, listen, I'm taking you out. And I'm giving you a gift. I'm giving you an awesome gift. I don't have to think about, how I'm going to make it. Right? I already know the systems are in place. This is my extra. This is my loose. Right? This is my loose change. And a thing that we did not touch on when talking about money, financials, and family is how much strain this can put on a relationship.
Ooh.
How much strain this put. Financial struggle, dude, it's a cancer. It's a cancer. I can even in my own life. I remember my mentor. This guy is a big brother to me, Mono. And I was at the time telling him, that's like a good 15 years ago. I was mad. I was pissed off. I was like, yo, the wifey's on my back all the time. I'm trying to do these awesome things, and she's always complaining. I'm not home enough, and we're having trouble, and we didn't pay this, and what you're doing. And I'm like, yo, she doesn't believe what I'm doing, man. She doesn't have my back, and he stayed there just listening to me, just complain, just emptying my bag. And when I'm done, and I have the added responsibility that those things were towards what I was doing for God. I was in ministry, and music was involved also. And for me, I'm doing God's work right now. I'm going to help people. And every time I get back home from an awesome day of helping people, right? I'm going to prisons and talking to inmates. I'm helping the youth. And I go home and I have to listen to all that jazz. I'm like, I'm tired of having this pressure. And he just listened to me complain about how the wife was acting. He's like, I understand. And he turned to me and said, you think you'd have the same problem if you came back home with $5,000? And at first I was like, why are you involving money in this? And then I went, oh, yeah. The truth is, if I came home with $5,000, you're gonna shut up. Because the problem you're really complaining about is going to be resolved. It's money. It's money. We don't want to think about it because we're busy thinking, hey, I'm doing this right thing. Right? You were saying you shouldn't regret when you're doing the right thing. And it's cool. What I was doing was right. Right? But how can I go do something right and leave something wrong? Am I home? Ooh. That's lack of planning. You're not being a good leader, right? That doesn't work. My boss, love this guy. He will go to the end of the world for his employees. You know how we say like the customer's always right, right? If a customer comes in,
no, he's not.
No, if a customer comes in and puts in jeopardy the livelihood of his employees, he will prefer losing that client, and he will lose that client in a spectacular way. He will kick them out. He told me of a story once where a client came to the office, and one of my colleagues had his kids with him. Right? It was an off day. He came to work and he came with the kids. We're a family-oriented business. The kids were there, and while talking with the client started to complain. Listen, this is unprofessional. I can hear the kids in the background. I can't focus. I'm not liking this. And my boss said, okay, cool. I understand. All right. So you can leave now. What do you mean? The door's right there. You can leave. You can leave. Because My employee came to work, right? And if to enable him to work, he has to bring the kids. That's a sacrifice he's making. How can I spit on that? I prefer losing you. I'm not losing my employee.
Wow.
Not everyone will do this. But understand, when you have a boss like that,
Yeah, you'll go to bat.
dude,
Yeah, you'll go to bat for
dude,
that guy.
if he calls me on a Sunday night and I'm with the family and he says, listen, we have an emergency and I don't know what I'm going to do, I'm going to be like, John, I'm right here, man.
Yeah.
What can I do? How can I help? How can I? Because I know he's done so for me.
Yeah.
Right? That's the minimum. See, that's planning and that's caring for people.
Yeah.
So it should be the same thing. I was busy complaining about, you know how wives, they nag. They're always nagging. I'm tired of the nagging. Did you listen? Her point was, not only aren't you there, I'm ready to suffer with you. But shoot, I want to be with you when we're doing the suffering. I should be alone in the lion's den, right? Like, we're in this together.
That's interesting.
And that's quite different.
Damn.
So when you put this into account, that's why some relationships, there's been some transgressions, issues, and that's why for them the 50-50 makes sense.
Yeah, you know what? You remind me of something. I was actually talking to Rula. So there was a situation with William. William has this bully at school, and the situation got out of control.
Yeah.
And it came to a boiling point. I said, drop everything you're doing. Give me the kid's address. Let me find the kid's address. And I found the kid's address. I'm like, I'm going to go talk to his dad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. And I have seen the man in passing before, and he pretended he didn't speak French or English. So I call Rula, and I'm like, Rula, I'm going to keep you on speakerphone. So if he pretends, because he's Lebanese, yeah, he speaks Arabic.
He's Lebanese, right?
He's Lebanese. So I'm like, if he pretends, I'm gonna keep you on speakerphone. I'm just gonna hold the phone in my hand, say nothing, and if he pretends he speaks no English or French, and starts talking to me in Arabic, start translating. And because she's the only speaking person that I know that's close to me, so I called her up. And she's like, okay, cool. So I walk up to the man, and I start talking to him. I go to the door, ring the doorbell, looks out the window. He's like, what do you want? We're not interested, whatever. I'm like, I'm here to talk about your son. And, I say his name. He's like, okay, what's going on? So he comes outside to talk to me, and we start having a conversation. And at first, he said something in Arabic, and Rula just said it in English. He translated it in English. And he goes, what? I'm like, yeah, I came prepared.
Yeah.
And then he goes,
yes.
and then he goes, oh, okay. So who are you? And then I'm like, okay, I got this. And I hang up the phone. So I start talking to the man. And we start talking about our kids. And I could tell that it's kind of sad and messed up, but I could tell where the kid got his problems. You understand? The energy that he exhaled, the aggressivity that he had towards me. And I mean, I'm not a small guy. You know what I mean? I'm not easily...
Yeah, flustered. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, like... But I looked around and I saw certain signs that made me see life, made me see who he is as a person. One of those things is I noticed that his Range Rover was inside the garage, while his wife's Honda Accord was outside the garage. Forget about the 50-50, okay?
Yeah.
In my world, the reason why you give a diamond to the woman is because you want her uplifted. You feel me?
That's right.
To my opinion, your wife, in my perspective, my wife is my pride. She gotta look good. She has to have things. I'm not a clothes guy.
Yeah.
You know this. I'm not a shoe guy. You know this. I mean, I have this shirt in basically 50 different versions.
That's right.
Right? But it's the same shirt.
Yeah, you're
It's just different
functional.
colors. I'm very
It works.
functional.
It fits. That's what I
Yeah.
want.
These pants come from Costco, and I know they're, I'm gonna say, efficient, cost effective.
Yeah.
And so there's 7 other pairs
That's right.
for when these
That's right.
die, because I wear them a lot for work. But I mean, to see this erased, like, I don't know what the right word is. The only word that I find is disgust.
Yeah.
Because then I see his son being so aggressive towards mine, and I like, it's not your fault. It's not his fault. The kid is not his fault.
Yeah.
That's just how he sees dominance. That's how he thinks relationships happen. Right? To him, the only way to resolve anything is to be dominant on your environment, to be dominant over other children, to be. And I'm like, that's not the right approach, especially because I have a black boys, but because I have a black son, like, to me, I'm very clear about, listen, you need to leverage diplomacy in order to walk, to navigate through this world.
This, yeah.
You can actually die if you do not learn the skills of diplomacy and instead go with your first instinct, which is usually to deploy
The ways of the
anger.
world, yeah.
Don't do that, because you can die. Right? And so to see this man being super aggressive, and there's a technique that I learned in negotiation, which is when somebody screams, you speak less loud.
Yeah.
And it's the funniest thing to diffuse any situation. Somebody raises their voice to you, and you're like, "I'm sorry, what are you trying to say?"
Yeah.
And it creates 2 things, right? One, they have to lower their voice because they can't hear what you're saying.
That's right.
They literally cannot hear what you're saying, and then they also have to get physically closer to you, and they have to do so in a non-aggressive way, because instead of doing this, they're doing this, which is like whatever stance you had. Like,
Yeah, and I know no martial arts where you're supposed to go like head first.
That's not a thing. So it's one of the techniques that I learned to diffuse situations, that I just leverage it on him, and by the end of the conversation. Super funny thing. By the end of the conversation, he was starting to mimic my body movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
he was starting to mimic my body movement, and by the end of the conversation, he was repeating what I was saying. So I was telling him, like, I don't want fighting, right? I don't think anything's gonna get resolved with violence or aggressivity. And the truth of the reality is I don't want my son to learn this as a lesson. My son takes martial art classes, and so far he hasn't used any of that stuff on your boy. But I know for a fact that if it comes to a boiling point, he might react, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want the police involved. I don't want anybody to be hurt. I don't want anything. And I could tell my son has come home and he's been hurt. He has scars from these interactions. So listen, just please ask your son to stay away from mine. And in fact, I don't even understand why you send him to the same school. Like, you can send him to another school and it'll be just fine. Right? I mean, they used to go to a different school, because the school where my kids go to is new. It's been there for 2 years, but they're in 4th grade, which means they were in another school previously, and then they got transferred to the new building that happens to be like within walking distance of my house. But they are not within walking distance of my house. They live much further out. So the other school is actually closer to the house. So I kind of put that idea in his head, like, in a few different ways, and it turns out today I just got the news the kids changed schools.
Wow.
And he no longer goes there. I don't want to get involved and be the superhero dad, but at one point, like, this was just too much.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to come with aggressivity or anger or whatever, but I also did not want to.
That was cool of you, because I probably would have told my son,
Kick his ass?
fuck him up.
Yeah, you see, here's the thing, though.
That's probably what Rula told you.
What? Yeah, she did tell me, like, she did tell me I would have told my boy to fuck him up. But here's the thing, though. I'm like, if this is the solution that he learns now when he's 9, what the hell is he gonna do when he's 16? And the thing is if he turns out to be my size, and he decides to fuck up a kid,
Yeah.
this kid might not get back up.
Yeah, my day. You understand?
Gee,
But sometimes, man.
I understand.
Sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Yo, sometimes some of them, man, they need it. I'm not saying this is something you're supposed to do every single time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying sometimes Like, let's say
Yeah.
the dad did not
Comply.
I always go this way.
Yeah.
I always go with, listen, let's talk things over,
Yeah.
calm them.
Yeah.
I actually have no qualms looking like the weak one. Sometimes people take this as a weakness.
Oh.
People don't understand actually that what's the word of it? When you keep yourself in control,
Yeah.
okay? The other term in the Greek actually translates to quiet strength.
Yeah.
Okay, so a quiet strength. That's patience is a quiet strength.
Yeah.
Okay, it's me holding to myself, being like, I will stay calm, and we're gonna go through this. But once you've passed this point, my strength gotta be loud. So if he had not complied, right, and you even go the legal way, and the legal way doesn't seem to open up quick enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes if your child hesitates too long
Yeah.
and something really bad happens, then you become Liam Neeson and you start searching for a black bastard.
Oh my God.
Just saying. Right? So before that happens,
Yeah.
okay? Before that happens,
Yeah.
my kid might have to mess somebody up. I've told the kids, I'm always the last one to tell the kids to do that. That's the last step. It's the ultimate one. And I go, listen, you go to this, and there's like a 4-step plan. They all know it. Go through this. Once you hit number 4,
Yeah.
you act swiftly,
Yeah.
and you do it one time.
Yeah.
I will give you a reason, and that's like we're crossing subjects right now, but it's because I've been through this in a specific group.
Yeah.
I was in a Facebook group that I recently left,
Okay.
because we could get to that. Actually, that could be an awesome next podcast. But there was a person in particular that liked to stir up stuff, conversations, and would his response when a lady was not happy with how he was acting was to simply send a picture of his genitalia. He would just like, I'm gonna send that to you by DM, and a couple of ladies complained, and I thought that the administrators didn't act fast enough, didn't get rid of him fast enough. It annoyed me. It pissed me off. For me, it's something that there's a whole. I could get to it, but I don't want to get into details. All you have to know is that I preferred leaving. Those are reasons, but that was one of them.
Yeah.
And when I was talking with one of the administrators, explaining my point of view, she was like, "Yeah, but isn't that like a bully? Like, just ignore it and it's go away. We shouldn't give him attention." And I said, here's the thing that people forget about bullies. Yes, they do like the attention, but when they don't have the attention, they escalate till they have it. My problem was the escalation, and I said I don't want to be around that time where it started with naked pictures, and then it becomes abuse or rape. I don't want it to escalate. I'll cut it straight.
Okay.
At the source, I'll cut it quick.
Yeah.
For me, that's how you resolve a problem. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get your hands dirty. Sometimes you have to bring officials, legal matter inside of it.
Yeah.
But you get rid of the problem.
Yeah.
This is not something that you do for like, oh, blah, blah. You have a little scuffle, a little argument, and then like some people are really abuse of the system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You don't go to the hospital because you have a cold. Okay. You take care of it, and then if something happens, then when it escalates, you get further. But that's what I mean, right? So, in my case, if I see a situation and it bubbles over, I prefer just like just real quick, just a blap, and then afterwards we'll see, right? Because we have to find common ground. We have to go 50-50.
Yeah.
50-50.
My rule about fighting has always been never start something you can't finish.
Facts.
Feel me?
Totally agree.
Don't start it.
No.
They're gonna end it.
Yep.
And that's what I've told my boy. And I've given him that quote unquote out. So he knows, but he's not a fighter.
No, don't.
And so I'm like, let's leave that alone. Let's leave that alone.
And it's cool. Hey, the longer you can keep him innocent,
yes.
in a sense, because
yes.
There is always a price to pay. We're talking about money.
That's right.
There's a price to pay.
There's a price.
I
to
give
pay.
you an example, and you mentioned we're black. Now, whether you agree on this or not, because I've been through it, my personal experience, and I know it's true. And my kids, if you're going past episodes, you can check it out. My kids going through it, in situations where it was self-defense, and you're still accused, and the stigma is there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the bigger one, and if you're the stronger one, they expect you to have to take. Not that you're able, just that you have to take more. So if a bully doesn't seem aggressive or capable of hurting someone, then automatically you lose. So, for example, my son Elijah is almost as tall as me, almost the same weight as me. He's on the football team. He's an athlete. He's powerful. He doesn't search for trouble. He has a smart mouth. He's a wise guy, but he's not predominantly aggressive. That's not his goal. Okay, I still remember when he started playing football. Since he was always the bigger one on the team, he wouldn't hit them hard. He would just like push them. He's like, and then coach was like, "No, you have to go." And it's like, man, if I'm gonna kill him. I will. Like my son has always been X'd on his helmet because he's always too heavy. So he can only do one position, and he has to be careful because right now my son is like 190.
Okay.
And it's not a 190 with a belly, like it's a 190 fit.
Yeah.
If the QB is 65,
he's going down.
my man,
He's going down.
the dude's died. That's it.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's dead. Okay. So knowing that, he's always been careful with other people, smart people, but then sometimes people take this as a weakness.
Yeah.
And bullies like to prey on people. And it takes one dude to poke, smack. No pokes again. Right? It's difficult, but there's a price to pay. Now you're the one who's getting suspended.
Yeah.
There's no way of you defending yourself, and then, trouble. But that's beside the point. All that to say, back to the money, the 50. I think we've resolved that convo. We've addressed it properly. In your lives, people, like I said, it's not all relationships and couples are alike. There's different variables. There's different specs, situations. Hey, maybe your spouse is sick. Maybe your spouse, these are difficult times when a spouse has to stay home, not because it was a choice, because they were forced.
Mentally or physically.
Mentally or physically. That means depression. Depression is murder. It's hard on someone.
Yeah.
It takes a lot on the other spouse also.
Yeah.
I respect that. Shout out to all the spouses that stick it and work it out.
Yeah.
That don't wuss out. That don't go like, hey, listen, you're weak right now.
Work out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It's just you fell on hard times, and I know you've given a lot, but hey, gotta go. Don't be that one. You said don't be an asshole. Don't be that one.
Yeah.
So shout out to you. Shout out to the ladies also. I know there's a lot. There's a lot of how can I say of ghost fees that we don't count. Sometimes your work is not properly compensated or appreciated, and that's a shame. And us fellas, let's do more, let's do better, and recognize that hey, for us to get to that throne, we needed that queen to push us to.
Absolutely.
Right. We didn't make it by ourselves.
No, none of us did.
So let's keep that in mind. That's it.
Yes. No, that's it. That's it. If you enjoy this, please like, share, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah, so look up on social media.
SoundCloud, iTunes.
Yeah, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts, video and audio, right? So, yeah, that was Father of Three, guys. We're sorry we took such a long break.
Yes.
I travel like mad. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see just
he's everywhere, and even though I don't go on trips a lot, I've been crazy busy, a lot going on, good things, promise.
Yeah.
And as soon as we link up, we're always back at it again.
Yes.
Give you content. If you have any questions, feel free to send it, mention it, and let's see you guys soon.
Yeah, let's absolutely see you soon. Father of Three.
Peace.